Hi guys, welcome back to Shelf Control. I'm Lisa.
I'm Norm.
Today we're going to talk about Myth Pantheon.
This one came up as our last random review, and so we played it, and we need to talk about it.
Talk about it. Play my nerd.
So this is a game that I
Yes, it is.
picked up in 2010. One of the early games I picked up in my collection. This might have been the one that I picked up shortly after picking up the original Thunderstone, playing it because I really liked AEG as a publisher. I really liked their Legend of the Five Rings card game before I got
Oh,
into
I did
board
not.
gaming. Yep. And then we all, our gaming group really liked Thunderstone. And it was like, okay, I like AEG. This game came out. It had the AEG logo on it. And I just picked it up just on that.
Boom.
So,
Hook, line, and sinker.
so we're going to see what we think of it. Uh, it is a trick-taking game with a lot of added stuff to it. Your goal is to gain followers on your cities. And so there's going to be a stack of these city cards that range from 1 to, there's one that's 4. So 1 to 4, and that's how many tricks you need to turn in order to claim that city. And they get a certain number of followers on them, and they'll have a power that you gain when you have this city. And so you play the game over 3 rounds. The round ends whenever a player is out of cards in their hand. So you could actually win multiple cities in a round before the round ends. But at the end of the third epic, you're going to count up how many followers are sitting on your cities. Whoever has the most followers at the end of the game wins. You've got your deck of cards. It's a fairly large deck of cards with different suits: harvest, war, heavens, death, weather, and did I miss one?
You got green, red, blue, yellow,
Purple,
purple, black.
green, black, death. I think I may have gotten them all there. So, and they range from numbers 1 through 12, and they have a colored band on them. And so you're going to shuffle these up. Everyone gets a hand of 7 cards, and that's your hand that you're going to be playing with. And then you flip over the top card of the deck, and in this case, it's weather, which is yellow. And those are going to be the I think they call it the ruling domain. So this is basically the trump card if you're familiar with trick taking games, where okay, so yellow is going to beat any other color out there. And so you set that off to the side, pick a player to go first, and then they will play a card from their hand. And that's going to be its ruling domain, and I forget what they call it, the leading domain. So that's
And this
quite
is
easy.
3 or 4 players, right?
Yes. And so you'll play out a card, and so in this case I'm playing the heavens. It's a 10 card. I play it out. So heavens is the leading domain. Then it goes clockwise. The person has to be able to follow with a heavens card if they have it. If they don't have a heavens card, they can play any card out, and they can even play the ruling domain, which will beat the leading domain. And then whoever has the highest card, if everyone plays out a heavens or a card that's not the ruling domain, then whoever has the highest heavens card will win the trick. Otherwise, whoever has the highest ruling domain card will win the trick. And you'll take those cards and you'll keep them beside you and to count how many tricks you've taken, because in this case, for Mecha, you have to turn in 3 tricks to claim this card. And so then you'll play again, and somebody else might win a trick, and then you might win another one. And then once you get 3 tricks, you can say, I'm turning in my 3 tricks to take this card.
Do you lose whatever tricks you acquired at the end of the clock?
Yes. Well, once somebody claims this city, everybody else's tricks go away.
Ah,
It's like you're just competing for Mecca. So if I got 3 and was able to claim Mecca and you had 2, you would discard your 2
got it.
because you're not fighting for Mecca anymore. It goes to the next city. As a little bit of a consolation to losing, if I play out a card and didn't win the trick, you'll gain a token that matches the color of the card that you played. So if I played the Heavens card and didn't win the trick, I would get a Heavens token. And those tokens can then be used later in the game when you gain actions. What are a divine act? Then you can play the the things that you've collected as a special power.
And you never lose your collected.
No, not unless somebody does something that makes you lose them or something
Right.
like that. Each card, the higher number ones, like this 10,
You got to know Roman numerals, Pete.
it's in Roman numerals, so that this X card doesn't have any writing on it. It's just a 10. It's a high value card. All the high value cards don't do anything. Where the smaller cards, like this green 6, which is harvest, it's a 6, so it's not very high, but if you win this challenge, you draw 1 mortal card, which would be an additional card from the deck that goes into your hand. So here's a death that's a 2. If you win this challenge, you gain 2 death tokens and draw 2 mortal cards. So the low cards, if you can win with them, maybe they're the ruling domain or nobody else has that card, you can get a lot of stuff, a lot of tokens, draw more cards.
And all the numbers have the same achievement on it, right? It's just you're going to get
Yes.
that particular
Yeah.
color's token.
All the 2s will say the same thing, except in this case, it wouldn't be 2 death tokens. It would be 2 tokens of whatever uh, that is. There's ones here that say if you do not win this challenge, you can perform an additional action during the divine acts. So you get tokens when you don't win a trick. When you win a trick, you get a divine action, which is spending your tokens. Or if you played a card, like in this case, that says if you don't win, you get a divine action, then you can play a divine action. And there's a list, a player aid with teeny tiny writing. I'm sure you can't see that.
You're going to need a magnifying glass.
Teeny tiny writing on it to say what they do. So if you had the war tokens, you can spend when you play a card. You don't have to have a divine action. You can just add this token to your card to add 3 to it. So that could make it so these lower cards could possibly win. You can also play it as a divine action. You can spend the number of tokens equal to the number on the city, so in this case 3, and destroy that city. And it's actually the number on the city plus the number of weather tokens that are attached on it. Because as a divine action, as I'll go over later, you can put weather tokens on a city to protect it against war. The green tokens, you can spend them uh, during your turn to draw 1 or 2 mortal cards into your hand. So if you don't like what you got in your hand, you can discard one of these to draw more. Or as a divine action, you can attach 1 or more of these followers. The harvest tokens become followers and go onto your city. And that's how you can add more followers to a city than what you normally get with the city, because it's the number of followers that wins you the game. If Lisa has 5 cities with 5 followers and I have 1 city with 15 followers, I'm going to win because I have more followers. So the weather is the yellow. So you can spend this on your turn to choose a new ruling domain. So if you don't like the fact that the yellow weather is the ruling domain, you can play a weather token, and they say just take one of these colored tokens and put it on there to change it. So you could put the red token on there and be like, okay, now war cards are the ruling domain, and everyone who has weather cards in their hands are all upset because now they don't have the special cards. And then, like I said, the weather as a divine action, you can put these on your city, and it adds to the number of war tokens that are necessary to blow up that city. The purple prophecy, you can spend a heavens and look at the top 5 cities of the deck, and then you can place any number of them on the bottom of the deck and rearrange the order. So it can give you a little bit of an idea of what cities are coming up to be bid on. And you can attach these tokens as a divine action to protect you from the plague, which is the death tokens. So you can spend a death token on your turn to discard 1 or 2 of your mortal cards. And then you can spend any number of death tokens to remove followers and heavens tokens from a city, but you got to remove the heavens tokens first. So it's not quite like war where you blow up the whole city. Instead, you're removing followers from it. You don't have to, if there's 5 followers, you don't have to spend 5 death tokens to plague all 5 of them off at once. If you've only got 2, you can say, I'm going to use these 2 to remove 2 of your followers. That way you can reduce the number of followers people have. And why would you want to discard one of these to discard 1 or 2 cards? You'll notice on the player aid, it says draw. That's an error. Well, remember, the round ends whenever somebody starts the round with no cards in their hand. So you might be like, this is going horrible for me. I need to get these cards out of my hand so we can just stop this now and move on to the next round. So if that didn't seem confusing enough, everyone's going to start out as uh, a god.
Creature.
So you've got Thor here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everyone gets five cards. You got Thor. You've got the Scorpion King. You've got what is this guy's name? He's like Tiamat or something like that. You've got uh, Amaterasu. You've got Athena. You've got all these different.
That's a spider. That's not a scorpion.
That's right. That's what's that Neil Gaiman? The Anisi boys? Yeah, I think that's Anisi. It looks like a Scorpion King to me on the picture.
It does look like the Rock.
You've got the I don't know the name of the Hindu god with the trunk. Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec god. You've got
So it's all
you got Anubis. Yeah, it's
all
it's all
inclusive.
gods from there's a oh, I think these have their names. Thor. Yep. Anansi is the spider guy. Tiamat, Amaterasu, Athena, Guanjin, the Morrigan, White Buffalo Woman, Jupiter, Ganesh, Anubis, and Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec dragon. And so you're going to get one of these gods that you're going to be, and you get the 5 cards that are associated with them. And they might be a particular suit. In this case,
Prince.
in this case, Athena is this Athena?
Yes.
She's war. She's all her cards are red of various values, and they all have a special power on them. In this case, all other deity cards, which are the special god cards, all other deity cards played during this challenge have no further effect. The printed domains and values still apply. So once you play this card out, everybody else's god cards are just whatever suit and value they are. The powers don't work anymore. And this one, when you play it, you gain 2 additional war tokens and things like that. And so your god cards give you special powers, and they're technically part of your hand, but you're never forced to play them. At any time, you could choose, any time that you would normally be forced to play a card, you can choose not to play a god card. So if she played out a war card and I had no war cards in my hand except for my god cards, and I didn't want to play any of these, I don't have to. So, because once you play one of your 5 god cards, then it's gone for the rest of the game. So you got to pick and choose when you're playing these cards out. And some of the gods, I think, have multiple colors instead of just being all one. Yeah, Guan Yun, I think she's got different colors. Got some purple, some green, some yellow of different values, and they all have different powers that deal with different things. Trading hands with people, trading cards with people, gaining extra tokens, things like that. And so to mix up the game even more, everybody is going to have their own special hand of 5 cards that are different from everybody else's that have powers. So it's trick taking with
Twist.
many, many twists. There's so many things piled up on top of this. So I will say that when I got it and played it with my friends, it didn't really strike me as enjoyable. Other friends did enjoy it, but I also never really got into trick taking. I enjoy the idea of trick taking, but never really played it enough to get really good at it.
You're not a trick taker.
So, but now there's so many games that have come out that are trick taking, like the Crew and things like that, where it's like, okay, I'm starting to
Yeah, but that's
find
a co-op trick.
the appeal of it. Well, what do you think of it?
Well, first you need a magnifying glass to be able to read the words.
This
Yeah,
just there's the order
we
of the
can zoom into
turns
that.
and how
That's
to play. Just
maybe take a
zoom in,
picture of it and
enhance. All right.
or we'll take a picture and pop it up there. But crazy small writing. The colors blend. So I think it's the
Oh,
purple and the black are so difficult.
yeah. I also when I opened it up the game when we got it as random, I totally forgot that I put these colored stickers on. So these war tokens actually have like red stickers
Oh,
on
you
them.
did that?
Yeah, I did that because the the tokens the color there wasn't a whole lot of color on them, and you kind of had to just go by. The war one's got swords on it, and the prophecy one's got a moon on it, and it was really hard to see it. And
And you need to
so
have good lighting in the room or you're not really going to be able to see the tokens or the cards. It's just that the I remember the purple and the black in the lighting of the room we were in, it was hard to tell which was which. And
yeah,
so you had to look up at the top. Of course, the purples are gods. The purple is the
oh yeah,
cities.
there's
Work
there's
with me here. You've got the black that's the death, and the purple is
heavens.
heavens. But they're really like right now we've got good lighting that we can see the difference, but you cannot see the colors of the cloth that kind of over the card. So
And the Roman numerals
yeah,
so small
you
up
got
in the corner.
and
It's
you got to know Roman numerals, which I mean we do, but sometimes you have to stop and think, wait a minute, okay,
yeah. If you're
if
sitting
the
at
one's in front of the 5 or behind the 5, what does it mean? So
Yeah, like the 11 weather. It's the X with the I. If you're sitting across from the table and you're looking at it upside down, you might think, "Oh, that's a 9," not thinking, "Oh, I have to in my mind flip it over. That's actually 11." The the idea of using the Roman numerals,
I like Roman numerals. I like them a lot, but it's challenging.
it
I
gives
mean,
it the old feel to it, but they're so tiny up in the corner. Just
yeah,
make
they
them bigger.
they compacted a lot of stuff on these cards when I think they could have, you've got the symbol of death, the seal of death here, make that a little bit smaller, give more room for writing, or that there's a lot of wasted space on the cards. And then you got to remember if I'm playing out a 2, I got to remember if I won or if I lost, what I was supposed to do because someone wins the trick, they're taking those cards, and you got to be like, wait a minute. I get to do an
I played a
action there.
card. What did that say? I get something when I lose. I remember that.
So maybe it's just better if we just set the card down in front of us so that, like,
So
okay,
I'd be like,
he wins
this
over
is my
there, but
card.
now this is what I get to do.
This happens. I give you that card.
So maybe we were just playing it wrong. I don't want to lay all my cards on the table, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, I will go with the not liking it as well. My biggest problem with the game, uh, I don't mind the idea like you. I, I almost think I think when I played with my friends, we played with the god cards face up in front of us, so we all knew what god cards everybody had, what suit and value they were. So anybody who was more familiar with the game wouldn't be like, okay, I know you've got death, so you've got a black 13, a black 4, and a 3, and then be like, okay, you've played your black 13, so now I know you've only got a 4 and a 3 in black, so I can play. So we kept it as open information, which I think is probably the better way to play it. So you have an idea of what other people play. But I think even that is ruined by the one mechanic that I hate the most about this game.
What is it?
It's the cards that say, if you do not win this challenge, draw a mortal card. Or when you play this card, draw two mortal cards. Most trick taking games, the whole deck of cards is dealt out to everyone. So if you don't have a card, somebody's got that card. And also, if I played out a green harvest card and then the person next to me did not play a green harvest card, then I know they don't have any green
Yeah.
harvest cards anymore. But they just played a card that draws them two cards at random.
Now they may have one.
So I play out a green harvest card and they're just like, boom, I got a green harvest card. I'm playing it out, and
Yeah, so you can't really plan a strategy or acquiring cards throughout. Yeah.
it also helps with like people who aren't maybe familiar with trick taking games. Other people can keep them in check when they're making mistakes. Because it's like, oh wait a minute, you just played a harvest card. Last turn you didn't play a harvest card. I now know that I need to enforce the rule, let you know, okay, if you have a harvest card and I play harvest, you can't not play a harvest card. You have to play a harvest card if you can. Where in, not cheating, but maybe they just forget. And they're just like, "Oh, I like the ability on this card better. I'm going to play it." And then later on they play a harvest card that they've been hanging on to. It could let people cheat because they're like,
I didn't have it
be like,
before.
I don't want to play this, so I'm going to play this card here that lets me draw two cards, and then no one can call me out for holding this card the whole time. Personally, I think if you're playing with people like that, you need to find a new group. But that is the thing. There's the the way you're constantly drawing new cards into your hand. You don't know what's going on, and there's multiple 12 wars. There's multiples of each of these cards. So if somebody plays out the 11 war, you can't be like, okay, I know the 11 war is gone. So I can play a 10 war and it's going to be great. And then somebody else is like, I also have an 11 war. And so to me, I think the whole appeal of the trick taking games is figuring out that logic puzzle. It's like, okay, they just played that card. That's information that means something to me. And
Well,
this,
you also kind of thrive on the logic game.
I do enjoy. I like the mental puzzle, and this, I could be totally wrong. People who are really into trick taking games, they might actually like having this little bit of chaos thrown on top of it, because they might be like, the trick taking game, we've played it so much, we kind of have it solved. It's like, oh, you played that card, I already know every card in your hand. And maybe they would like to have this little mix up of, okay, you just drew two cards from this big huge deck, all of a sudden what I knew, I don't know, and now I have to relearn. And maybe people who enjoy trick-taking games a lot would find that appealing.
You unintentionally count cards.
I'm not at the point where I enjoy not knowing because like there's times in the crew where we'll be playing through and I'll play out a card and everyone at the table is like, why? Why would you throw that out? Because obviously the answer's there, and I'm just like, what?
What? Huh? What? Huh? What? When?
You
What
can't tell by the clues we've given why that's the worst possible decision you could make.
So I'm not at the point where I want to play with the crew where everyone's drawing random cards in their hand after they played a card because I'm just going to be lost. I'm just going to be we're going to throw the spaceship into the sun.
So another thing for me is that unless you're able to read the tiny writing or you're so familiar with the game, I don't remember what the color tokens mean. So I always have to say, okay, what, why do I want this token? Why do I want this token? It's maybe I'm being unfair, but it's requiring me to put way too much thought, memorization in it because the player aid is unreadable.
It's so small, and maybe it's because it's a 2010 game. It's not user friendly. Like there's nothing on this list that tells you, hey, this top action is the one that you can take anytime. This bottom action
Right.
you can only take as a divine action.
It's making me work way too hard for a game that's not grabbing my attention.
And just like with the ruling domain and the leading domain, the language that they choose to use is hard to keep track of in your head.
Like I already feel
Uh,
like Patrick and Bob going on drooling.
you've got the red war tokens, and the abilities that you can do with these tokens, the one that you can do at any time is called hero. The one that you do as a divine action is called invasion. Personally, I think, oh, it's open. I think personally, it should be like these are war tokens. You can either use them as an action for this, or you can use it as a divine act for this. It's a war token. It's not a hero action anymore. It's
No,
not
it's
an
a hero
invasion.
token.
And so it's it may just be because back in 2010, people didn't know people didn't know how to do player aids. I don't know,
I mean, I guess you know our opinion then on if it stays on the shelf or not.
but they don't know what number we're gonna give it.
Oh, I've
So if you haven't seen our videos before, we do a ranking where it's a 0 to 10, but we start with a 0 to 7 based off of the game itself, the rules, how it plays, and trying trying to take the personal preference out of it. The rules, how easy it is to play, how easy it is to teach, how easy it is to follow, things like that. So 0 to 7, 3. That's harsh. But
it. I mean, for everything that we've said,
yeah, I'm not going that harsh, but I think I would make it 5, maybe even a 4. I think if we did 0.5s, it'd probably be a 4.5. And I'm kind of leaning up a little bit more, just because, like I said, somebody who has played trick taking games their whole life might like the little uncertainty. As a trick taking game, it plays okay. The biggest detriments are the components, the fact that you can't make these out, you can't read the player aids, you can't make out this. There's so much graphical and rules problems. The rule book's not great,
but a 5.
but
I mean,
okay,
stand with your decision.
I'll go to the 4. I like the idea of a trick taking game where you have some cards with special powers, where the cards themselves do something special. Like we've got Fox in the Forest, the two-player trick-taking game that we took with us camping and played a little bit, and they have cards where when you play them, they have a special ability that do something too, and I like that. I don't like the ones that let you draw more cards. I don't like the fact that there's these cards that you don't know what you're playing with and what's not being played with at the moment.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Stick with your 5.
it's the getting the cities with the special power. I think these tokens playing them. This is like a super advanced trick taking game
It's not stupid. It's advanced.
that, for me personally, falls short because I might not have the mindset to gronk this properly. Grok, not grunk.
I'm giving it a 3.
So I'm gonna give it the 4. Uh,
And I'm sorry, I like AEG games. I really, really want to like this.
this was an
But
important lesson for me because I bought this specifically because it had the AEG logo on it, and I got it, and I was like, okay, I can't just buy it because I like the publisher, because that doesn't mean I'm going to like everything they do. And yeah,
yeah. All right. So our next rating.
0 to 3, that X factor, the wow, how much you enjoy playing it, how much you want to play it again, how intriguing you find this game. 0 to 3. Row. I'm giving it a 0 too. I have no desire to play this game again. And yeah, it's
I think this is the lowest ranking ever given. And there's games that I like worse than this, but
yeah, I'd say that the gameplay coupled along with the graphical issues, the rule book being weird to try and get through and figure out. I've read this thing over and over and over. I actually like trying to figure out how you win the game was a chore in this rule book, because it's like, here's the object of the game. You're an immortal god, and you muster your divine sway, and blah blah blah. Marshal your powers and rule all of creation. That's the object of the game, is to rule all of creation.
What's so hard to understand about this, guys?
And then it goes through the setup and how to claim cities and all this, and then what all the things do, and then it has a nice list here of all the gods, and gives you a little bit of how they play, and then there's a little example of play, and it shows you the cards, and then there's like a order of play and stuff, and it's like, I still don't know how to win this game. At the end of the third epic, how do you win? And I just went right past it because you have the kind of like a appendix that goes over all the tokens and how their actions do, and then you have this little appendix here where it lists all the gods and what they do. And if you're not paying attention, the very last header down here says winning the game, and then it tells you how to win the game.
on the page where it's
On the
still showing
on
you
the
all about the
page where it's
gods.
showing you all about the gods, and then followed with that with the anatomy of the card and an example of play. And so I went through this book so many times,
He was so frustrated.
just glancing past. It's like, okay, I don't care about the gods. I don't care about the gods. All right, I don't know how to win. Let's go back through. All right, I don't care. I know the tokens. I know the gods, and I don't know how to win. And then finally, my eyes go down there. It's like, oh, there's a little header down here after all the god descriptions that say winning the game. After the end of the third epoch, it's time for the reckoning of the gods. The deity with the most followers on his cities wins the game. It's like, thank you. Now I know how to rule all of creation. Has I've never been so frustrated with just trying to figure it out. How do you win? I know how to play the game. I've read this thing through so many times. I know how to play
We know
back
the
and
gods
forth now.
inside and out.
So yeah, I'm giving it a 0. So I'm giving it a 4. That's probably my lowest ranking. But I'm differing from Lisa in that at the moment, of all the games we reviewed, I don't think there's a game that I dislike more than this one.
Oh,
Are
we
we keeping this game? Are we putting this?
no, don't even.
Maybe
No,
we
no,
can
no, 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 no.
get rid of this Feast for Odin or something for. No, we're not keeping it. Yeah, we're not. We're not keeping it. Oh, we got some colored lights here. I just noticed that I'm wearing blue on the blue side, and you're
Oh.
wearing orange on the orange side.
Yep.
Maybe we should swap that up. I don't know. I've played around with the lighting a little bit. Let me know what you think. If there's any, if this needs to be brighter or this needs to be different or anything like that. Uh,
You're having fun experimenting.
I'm enjoying this. The problem is when I'm sitting here trying to do the lights, I'm looking at this little teeny tiny screen to figure out if the lighting is done right, and if it's not recording, it times out after a certain amount of time, and I have to go around and do that. So kind of like, let me set this up. All right, this looks good on the little 4 by 2 inch screen. Let's record and see how it looks, and hopefully you guys think it's all right.
We've got to pick a new random game.
There's the tablet. Let's
Out, man.
get this. No, I think we are ready to go. You just need to
Are
hit
we?
get collection and roll.
Hit collection.
Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, 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 boop. Battle for Rokugan. Right behind me.
Have I played this?
You have not played this. This is by Fantasy Flight Games, but it's based in the Legend of the Five Rings world. So, AEG adjacent. So this one is one that I've really been interested in. Yep. Yeah, I was really happy to find this because it's not in print. It's really hard to get. I got it at a thrift store. And so
There you go.
I really
That's a lot of stuff.
I really like the Legend of the Five Rings world, the different clans. I'm a unicorn clan. But it's basically like a war game instead of the card game. And I'm really curious about this because each clan plays a little bit differently. You have these tokens that have these different values on them that, that you place face down on the map when you're kind of placing your orders. And
Placing.
so people don't know exactly what your intentions are with each piece you put down.
5 players.
So when I put a token down in a spot, you don't know, did I put down a high value or low value? You know, am I bluffing that I want to go there? And then once everyone puts stuff down, then you start revealing the token.
Are all the clans in here?
Um
What's 2 to 5 players?
seven daimyo screens. So it may be the original 7. I think the game actually got up to 12 at some point, adding some other clans. So I don't know.
There's a spider clan or a crab clan, right?
Spider Clan was new.
Okay.
You got the Scorpion Clan, which are like the ninja types. You got your Crane Clan, which are your political poets, like that. The Phoenix Clan are your magic users. You got the Dragon Clan, which are like monks. Unicorn Clan is cavalry. Lion Clan is the like the army of the Emperor. You got the Crab Clan that's guarding the wall to keep out the Shadowlands.
7.
And that's 7. All right, let's stop there.
I don't know who I want to be.
All right, I want to be unicorn.
Who would I be?
If I had to guess, I'd say Phoenix.
Or dragon. But David will be dragon if he.
Yeah, I really liked Legend of the Five Rings and the way that each clan was separate because you had the monks that did magic, but in a different way. They had the tattoos that were alive and would do stuff mixed with their magic and yeah.
A board game of conquest and cunning in Emerald Empire. 5 players. Game designed by Tom Jolly with Molly Glover.
Yeah, it's a name that I'm not familiar with. It to me it seems kind of like a game, almost like a Blood Rage or something. It's an area control type game. Doesn't have a lot of minis. It's just little face down tokens that you're putting out there with the values on it. A lot of deception hidden in there because you don't know what you're putting down. Probably a lot of deception from the Scorpion Clan. So yeah, I was super happy to find this on the shelf, and I am so happy now that I can get people to play it with me.
So we'll get this played and reviewed before long. So, all right. Thanks for following along with us. Like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.